welcome back to the Big Blue Lighters podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jets. We're here to talk all things New York Football Giants, and all things could be extremely short tonight because of the. My God. Anyway, just how you doing, brother?
Been better.
Yeah, got it.
We can't have anything like at all. We can't have anybody or anything. If it's good, oh, that's not true. If it's bad, we can have it. If it's good, absolutely not. So that's how I'm doing.
Yeah, this is going to be a test of our mettle to be able to talk positively about this team and the situation right now, and not everything be negative, because it's really going to be hard, because it's like all the bad things in life seem to be happening to the Giants for the most part. It's very, very strange, but we'll get into some of the details, man. I don't know where you want to start tonight, but there's plenty to start with. We were talking off air about, it's just like it's almost time to start doing mock drafts. You already started. I'm trying to get to that place where I'm ready for that. It's like, man, the struggle is real. I'm like, man, it seems like it's too early, but is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not too early after all, because we're here.
I mean,
seems like we're here.
I don't want to start with the mock draft stuff just yet. I'm debating between two topics to start us at here. I think the first one we'll go with is Scatabo. And just because we lost more than just a running back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, him and Dart, tight as brothers. You see it the way with Dart's reaction. You see how much the team loved him. I mean, everybody loved him. Even the Eagles fans gave him a standing ovation when he was taken off the field. And that's Eagles fans,
Yeah. He did better than Santa Claus. So, yeah.
I mean, these are people that have mocked dead players and booed Santa. And, it just goes to show, how much, he was loved by the football community with the attitude and the energy and the intensity he brings. And the Giants lost all of that. And I do think with all of the success that he was having with this team, combining that with, good Lord, we're already down neighbors. Like, the offense was so barren of skill position talent. I mean, this game, we just got Darius Slayton back. And we lost Scatabo just so early in the game. And it was like the wind left their sails. It's like the life left their eyes. I mean, it's so hard to overcome, poor coaching, poor play, poor everything. And it's all being compounded on by the sheer volume of injuries we are sustaining. It's like, I saw someone say, the 1 year the Giants have a top 10 offensive line in like the last 14, 15 years, every other position group is just being decimated by injuries. I mean, we were calling up practice squad linebackers earlier this year, only to then lose them to injury. We had to call up practice squad corners this week, and we still lost two more. We were already down Paulson and Debo. Cordell Flott leaves the game. Art Green leaves the game. And we're starting Kobe Black, we're playing Kobe Black, who we drafted in the 7th round, cut in the offseason, let him go. He was signed to the Jets practice squad, and then we had to sign him off of the Jets practice squad. Like, that is how far down the rabbit hole. And yes, there are all these Giants fans talking about how, clearly the roster isn't up to par because of, how bereft of talent it is. Well, it certainly doesn't help when you enter a game down a corner and then lose 2 more corners in the same game. That doesn't exactly help you go to the well of talent that you're theoretically supposed to have. And that's all going to come back to when we inevitably end up having to talk about Shane and Dable later. But I just don't know where they can really go at this point. I mean, I know you want to talk about maybe some mock draft stuff, some trade possibilities with the deadline coming,
we can do later. No big deal.
particularly for wide receiver. But with this being a lost season, I'm torn about, do we give up assets? How much are we willing to give up to trade for a wide receiver or something?
Fair
And
enough.
honestly, I'd rather be selling. Like, it wouldn't make any sense for Shane and Dable because they're going to need to make a move to try and help save their job. But if they were smart and we were able to, what can we trade for? What can we, I know we've lost Scatabo for the year. Kind of screw it anyways. What's Devin Singletary worth to somebody? Is he worth a 4th, a 5th? What about Jalen Hyatt? What about Evan Neal? What about Hudson? What about Banks? Can we package like 3 or 4 of those guys together just to get 1 third-round pick or something like that? Like Madden this stuff, I don't know, but it's another lost season. It's not even Halloween yet, and the season is over. It was a miracle it wasn't over entering October. But this is where we're at now. So I don't know, man. Like, just losing Scatabo after already losing Malik Neighbors, after having to go weeks without Tyrone Tracy, weeks without Darius Slayton, weeks where we were talking about little Jordan Humphrey, who has not had a reception the past 2 games, by the way, as this massive potential, season-saving piece. Like, that's where we're at, and it just sucks. It sucks so much.
Fair. Let's see where I can come in behind all of that. That comment about the roster not being up to snuff, as much as we've criticized and fairly so the Giants roster, I'm not doing that. I've seen some things, and I think people who know football, people who are in the game or behind the microphone now, who are legends in the game, they see something that we see too, and that the roster has talent on it, and it was playing above his head in some spots. So we're gonna discard all of that trash that we're hearing about the roster not being. That's not the O-line was the butt of jokes for like 2 years, and now nobody even mentions them. You know why? Because they're playing well. That's why. If they mention them, that's when you know it's not going well. But when they don't mention it, that means it's just going well. But the injuries, they're killers, man. When Scat went, like you said, the air kind of just went out of the whole thing. It makes me wonder, okay, so how they going to address? I'm just mentioning draft. When I get in the draft right now, I'm just mentioning this to make a point. When it's time to start drafting people, you start drafting guys like character-wise, like Dart and Scatterable, because you need to make sure you have that, throughout your team. Because if one guy goes out, the whole team should be able to go down. So it's what I'm thinking. You need to have guys that have that kind of mentality. There were guys in the draft that I wanted that were like that, but we didn't get them. It is what it is. You talk about Flock going out with a concussion. He was playing the best at the position for several weeks. And with him being out, you know what that means, right? I'm gonna be. I ain't looking at the ball. Banks back again. So I'm not thrilled about that part whatsoever. The other injury is Bellinger with his neck. I really hate that so much because I'm gonna have to retract my statement from last week about Theo Johnson. I named all the guys I said were the future of the Giants. I'm going to hedge on that one because I'm not really sure at this point. If you can't catch passes, you're like those tight ends that all your work in the game is to block. You're not worth being a receiver. And I saw better than that in times past. I saw it. But for some reason, he can't catch passes. So Belgin's going out like, oh, man. So now we're stuck with this dude. I forgot who, I think is Doty still on the team with us. We had to rely on him to be a pass catching tight end. I'm just like, these injuries are putting us in a box right now, a really bad box. And to your point, now that we found out, I think last week, I think it was that Neighbors his surgery got delayed. So I'm not sure if it even happened yet. But the point is that if it happened when we thought it would, he'd be able to come back at the start of 2026. Now, because it's being delayed and put off for weeks and weeks, that could delay his arrival back onto the team from a position of health. So getting a big wide receiver name, it made sense to me when I thought we would possibly win some games and turn some stuff around. But with these injury blows right here, bam, scat, bam, Bellinger, flat. I'm wondering now, like you said, what's the point of bringing in a big wide receiver name and losing assets that we don't have a whole lot of in this upcoming draft to start with. So we need a lot more of those, especially if what I think is going to happen happens and we clean house on this team. We got to have some draft picks. We can't fill a roster like that with free agency. We can't. It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. We don't have the money to even do that. So we got to do it through the draft. So we got to get as many picks as possible. So definitely heard your point on that part. You asked about offline if this is going to affect Mara's decision in the offseason.
Because now we know Dable,
man.
I mean, Dable, it seems like there's a lot of speculation around this that the reason they haven't gotten rid of Bowen is because they're going to use him as a scapegoat at the end of the year. Because if they can just hold on to him, the defense continues to be the problem. And, that means Dable and to a lesser extent Shane can throw their hats on, look, we were finally figured out the offense. We're putting up 20 plus points per game now relatively consistently. Heck, in these past couple of, and trust me, we're going to get to this. If we don't have a penalty, wipe off like a 60 plus yarder, against the Eagles here, this is a 38-28 kind of game. And Jackson Dart has like his first like real 270 passing yards, 2+ passing touchdown, 1+ rushing touchdown kind of game, real offensive game that you can put your hat on and all that sort of stuff. But now on top of the kind of Bowen excuse, they can say, well, look at all of the injuries we sustained. No Malik Neighbors, lose Scatabo, weeks without Tracy, weeks without even Darius Slayton, on top of not having Malik Neighbors. And then on the defensive side, they can also be pointing out, like, look at how many, we entered this game against Philly with no Paulson Adebo, no Javon Holland, no Chauncey Goldston, amongst others. And in that game, lost Flott, lost Art Green, lost Bellinger, and so I think at this point, the only way to get rid of the disease of losing is to cut it off at the source, and that is to clean house. I don't know who we would bring in. I don't know if we would go the old veteran coach, who's maybe not going to get us over the top, but helps us establish a winning culture, kind of almost like Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks, years of, all right, I turned this team into a consistent playoff contender, haven't been able to get over the hump, but, we've seen, they now know how to win, how to not lose games. I don't know who that would be for the Giants, but I think at this point, that's what you need. You can't go to he's young, he's flashy, he's never been a head coach before, but he might be the future of the, I don't know if we can afford to go to that, because we need somebody who can just come in and be like Vrabel. We need a Vrabel. We need someone who can just come in, be consistent. Maybe he's not going to get us over the hump schematically. Maybe he's not going to give us, we're not going to enter a game with a true coaching edge against the likes of the Harbaughs and the Reeds and, the Kevin O'Connors, the Shanahans, Matt LaFleur, maybe he's not quite there, but he's a stable, reliable, culture-building guy. And I think at this point, that's what the Giants need. We don't need an X's and O guy, and we don't need an X's and O's guy. We need a culture builder. And I think, like you said, and as other people have said, this Giants team has talent. This isn't, the Browns of the 2010s, where there's like virtually nothing to, come in and be excited about. I know he's not having a good year this right now, but hopefully by this point next year, after another offseason to rehab and get healthier, Dexter Lawrence will be back to his old self. And I know you want to talk a bit about him later, but Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burdens, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, we have the pieces on the defensive line. Javon Holland and Paulson and Debo are solid guys there in the secondary. We need to build up the linebacking core, but maybe we can trade Bobby Okereke for something, get off his money. And then on offense, Andrew Thomas is clearly one of the best left tackles in all of football. Jackson Dart looks promising. And then it's a lot of, you're going to need to put pieces around that, but you're going to enter with a top pick, right? Like, probably going to be a top 10 pick. So there's going to be, skill position guys available, be it Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, I think his name is, out of USC. Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston. Like, there's going to be wide receivers and skill position guys available, because right now it looks like the teams ahead of us, Jets probably go quarterback. Saints probably go quarterback. Dolphins probably consider quarterback. And I think there's going to be 2 or 3 that are going to be top 10 picks in this upcoming draft between Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, and Dante Moore. So the Giants will be in position to add some of these much needed pieces. So I think this job would be enticing for people. But it all has to start with Mara saying, no more, I'm cleaning house. Because I think at this point, that's just what is needed. I know Dable loves Dart. And I know Dart loves Dable. But if Dart is who we think he can be, and who he has kind of shown he is, like, he's not having success because of Dable's play calling, because of Dable and Kafka, in terms of like what he is putting out on the field. A lot of his best stuff is coming outside of structure. His ability to extend plays, maneuver in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and just layer these balls. It's truly amazing to watch. So I don't think he's going to be reliant on Dable. And if he is reliant on Dable, well, then he's not the guy, and we have to move off of him. Because at this point, we can't just keep spinning our wheels with the same stuff over and over again. It just, something has to change.
So about something, and before I start talking to you, so you're saying something is Dayball not being on the team anymore, right?
Dable, Shane, the whole front office, the whole coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like, right. I think it just needs to be a full-on house cleanse.
That's okay. I'm not really against that. I'm not really worried about the Dart impact of it. It doesn't worry me at all. I think Dart is wise enough to be able to handle that situation, I think. There's about 8 guys out there, head coaching wise. Only 3 of them I really like the idea of them being the next head coach. As far as them being X and no guys and that kind of stuff, only one of them probably falls in that category. The guys I think about, and not in any order, these are guys that I just keep seeing their names in my head every time I think about a replacement for Dayball. That's Jesse Miller, Michigan guy, but I think he is a top candidate considered for this job or for a job as a head coach. Joe Brady, I've wanted him for quite a while now, but this is maybe perhaps the best chance that we may have, or we've had so far, I should say, to have somebody to replace I really believe that his work and his development of Josh Allen is going to really help with this. And we brought Dayball in thinking that, under the reputation that he was able to be part of Josh Allen's evolution. But Joe Brady is, if I can say that, he's really been a huge part of Josh Allen's evolution. So to have him over here helping Dart, that's a gold mine right there for us. And the other thing that we discussed about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, that's Cliff Kingsbury. Everybody else is the guy. You mentioned Mike McCarthy last week. I'm kind of cool on him. I know Todd Monkey's name came out. I liked him in his first year with Baltimore because he was committed to throwing the ball down the field, which is something that the Ravens needed, and Jackson needed to him being the running back and the quarterback at the same time. But things have changed a little bit with the approach since Monkey's been there, but he's been that kind of. Mike McDaniel is a name I've heard off and on for a while. They were just waiting for him to be fired. He's not even fired. His name has been thrown around a lot. Even Jeff Hackney, we watched him last night at the DC for the Packers. His name is another name that's been out there, man. And another former Giants DC. I think it's Lou Anarumo. His name has been thrown around as well too. I'm in the Brady Kingsbury mentor camp personally. But in regards to the thing you said about Bowen, that whole scapegoat thing, it sounds nice and everything, but that's not all that we had going on that wasn't quite right with the team. It wasn't just the defense all the time. We had high expectations because we thought they were going to be next level elite. And I mean, honestly, I really believe, the talent is right there. I'm like, so he put me of low hanging fruit. It's right there. And we couldn't get that done. But to Bowen's discredit, you're talking about we're 30th in yards allowed, 27th in points per game, 24th in passing yards allowed, 30th in rush yards, over to the bottom of the league. And beside that, we're talking about 6 out of 8 games we allowed 100 yards. And I think in 5 games, we allowed either 150 rush yards or 200 rush yards. That's on defense. You ain't getting around that kind of stuff. So he has to take some kind of blame. But the scapegoat thing, I'm like, I don't know if Dayball can escape all the other stuff that we've seen go on and stuff. I mean, there's other things too. I mean, Kafka made some mistakes too, but he seemed to be somebody who nobody's really worried about removing. There was one questionable call I didn't like in the game, but beside that, nobody's really talking about him, which is a good thing, I guess, for him. But you bring in a new coach, head coach, and a new GM, you can pretty much be assured that your OC ain't going to hang around unless you got connections to that person. He's going to be out too. So I don't know. We talked about how Dart kind of playing his best ball, despite what Dayball is doing, despite what he's dialing up. I think that speaks to your point that it's time to clean house.
I don't know if I would say in spite, but
that's not your words.
Well, no. Maybe I said him, but that's not exactly. It's like he's not. It's not like I don't think Dayball and Kafka are calling like bad plays in the wrong situation, or like kind of. I don't think they're necessarily holding Jackson Dart back, but I think a lot of the best stuff that Dart has done and that we've seen from Dart, like what makes us think, okay, he could be the guy, has been stuff outside of the structure that Dayball and Kafka have set up. Again, like the scrambling, maneuvering the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, the arm angles, where, all that sort of stuff is like what's special about him.
Okay.
And
I think the play call opened up because you got somebody like Dart. No?
Yeah. No, I think, but I think also at the end of the day, like, I think all of the Giants, like I saw someone legitimately say the other day that we should get rid of Dayball because he's going to be holding Jackson Dart back because look at what happened to Josh Allen once Dayball left. As if Josh Allen hadn't been steadily increasing every year and entered MVP conversations for at least 1 year that Dayball was there in 2021.
Okay.
Like that 2021 was like the first year of truly elite Josh Allen. Now Allen has still gotten better since Dable's left. Anybody who I think would say otherwise is also crazy. But I don't think Dable is bad for the development of quarterbacks. But that being said, I don't think Dable, and even if Dable does have it as the offensive mind, his situational game management hasn't been good. His clock management hasn't been good ever, really. It's a little nitpicky, I think, but how emotional he gets, screaming and yelling and going up and down the sideline. Like, I know coaches do that, but there have to. I don't know, when you're losing, it's just such a bad look. When you're a coach that's done significantly more losing than winning. There are just certain things that you can get away with when you're a winner, when you're proven, that you just can't when you're not. So
I'm good with the idea of cleaning house. Let's move through it. I'm with that because I mean I feel like we tried everything else. What haven't we tried? We literally tried everything else in our bag of tricks. As far as personnel in this organization, we tried everything else. There's nothing else left to do but this. So the whole thing with the Bowen scapegoat, I don't know, man. I don't know. It'd be wild to me. I would have to say it on air, just own it. If Bowen is gone, but Dayball stays there, I'll be shocked.
No, there's absolutely no way Bowen stays.
We have problems that this is not.
I think
he has to go just the same. And the only thing I wasn't sure about Shane. That's the only thing I'm not
Shane,
about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
Shane
about that.
Is such an odd, I don't know what to think of him. Because
that's fair, but that doesn't make him somebody to get run out either. I just don't know.
Here's the thing, and it's like one of those things that it feels like, if this feels like, is it a chicken or the egg situation where, 2022, that draft class, we're just going to skip over 2023 because that's been an absolute unmitigated disaster. But 2022, and we've done this exercise before, where we've gone through the draft class, but Kayvon is having his best year this year, but still, isn't exactly what we would hope for from a number 5 overall pick, right? I think we can agree with that. Yeah. Evan Neal, disaster. Wan'Dale Robinson, fine. I guess fine is the best way I could put it.
Been better than most of the receivers, so yeah, okay.
Well, for our group, but that's not saying much. Joshua Zudu never worked out. Cordell Flott just now kind of, again, saying breaking out is a strong way of putting it, because it's not like all of a sudden he's emerging as this top flight corner, but he's gone from being at best a rotational to looking like a decent starter this year.
Yeah, breaking out. He was in prison. He was in prison. He was breaking out.
he's been good this year.
He's on parole. What else you got?
Daniel Bellinger can't stay healthy, but has been solid when they've used him, but they've bizarrely not used him until just right now because they keep trying to replace him. Don't know what's going on there. Dane Belton has looked fine when he's played, but he's a backup. It seems like they prefer him as a backup. Micah McFadden and DJ Davidson, both, DJ Davidson is fine as a 4th string defensive tackle, maybe 3rd string at absolute best. And Micah McFadden has been good once once he got a bit more consistent with the tackling, but he's been injured. And now we go all the way to 2024, because again, not talking 2023. This great draft class that Shane, was one of the things that Shane was able to hang his hat on. One of the reasons this whole regime came back was because of how promising this draft class looked. Malik Neighbors' season-ending injury, we don't know if he'll ever be the same again. Tyler Nubin regressing, it seems like, this year. Andrew Phillips, good as if he was bigger, he would have made a great linebacker. How I think I've heard some people talking about him. where when it comes to like the tackling and the stuff in the, in the flats and the box, he's been great, but he is the most penalized corner. And he's given up, I think, the most yardage of any slot corner so far this year. Like, so he hasn't developed. I don't necessarily think he's regressed, but he hasn't developed the way we would hope. Theo Johnson can't consistently catch the football. He's like Evan Ingram 2.0. Tyrone Tracy just got back from injury. Solid, good running back, but nothing I would say is true. Like Scatabo looked significantly better than him, but now it's back to Tracy's game. And Darius Mausau is too slow to, play on an NFL field as a true linebacker. Like, I guess he's fine if he's like, again, the backup's backup, which, is no, like, obviously you hope for more, but he's a 6th round pick. It's not one of those things where I think like anybody is truly devastated. Like, oh my God, Darius Moasau is not what, he's not a Fred Warner, like I don't think anybody is having that reaction, but this draft class that was supposed to be game changing now looks like a shell of itself this year. So it's like, what do we do with Shane? Like, I don't think anybody is really faulting him. He hasn't had any massive hits. Malik Neighbors looks like he should be, but we'll never know. Like, it feels like what he could have been. I mean, you go back to like 2008, the Giants have seen, I don't know, like 13, 14 major skill position players all suffer these insane injuries, from Plax shooting himself in the leg to Victor Cruz to Odell to, oh my God, was it David Wilson to now Neighbors, Scatabo. I mean, even Saquon, when he was here, was constantly banged up. So it's just, like, again, I think for the sake of the mojo and the vibes, I think they have to clean house. And that includes Shane. That includes Dable. That includes Kafka and Bowen. The only guys that should be retained, in my opinion, are Carmen Bercillo and Patterson. But good Lord, man. Good Lord. It's just exhausting.
Don't forget the training staff, because I'm like, are they partly to blame for this? I've seen some baseball teams, the players are constantly injured all the time, and eventually it just took them years to figure out, you know what? You go to the training staff. When they changed the training staff, everybody suddenly was healthier more. So don't know, but that's just something I'm concerned about too. But anyways, let's keep the train moving. So where are we going, man? Because I think let's get into the officiating, because I know I don't want to run out of time and not touch on that. I think you said it, man. Probably one of the worst officiated games that I can remember in quite a while. And I've seen some bad ones, man. Mm-hmm. Some of them haven't had the Chiefs in it. That's probably a mere coincidence. We'll leave it at that. But this is one of the worst ones. I mean, it wasn't good on either side, but it kind of felt like they were kind of favoring the Eagles. I didn't know about Brad Rogers' history. It kind of escaped me. But he had a situation where I think their team got suspended. If that's accurate information, they got suspended earlier this month for that Chiefs-Jags game. The Jags won 28-24, and the same instances that were happening in that game happened in our game against the Eagles yesterday. Phantom PI call over BTJ. Connor didn't even touch the man. Josh Hines Allen roughed Mahomes up, roughing the passer. No call for it. They got suspended for that. So I don't know what's going to happen out of this game, because this one was. You can go ahead. I'm sure you want to name all the stuff that happened. Feel free, but I'm not going to go through all of that. But it was just enough things, more things than we got on our hands of issues that happened on their watch that was just like dramatically affected the game. People can say, you know what, the Giants should have did this, did that. Okay, we lost guys, and we were still in in striking distance in a lot of cases, despite that. So you can get into it if you want to, get into all of the bad sides of it. I'll let you go ahead and run with it, man. It's not, if you watch the game, you already know what happened. False start, that push disaster. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean,
it's incredible, man.
No, I mean, you said it pretty well there. So I want to establish first that we did not lose this game because of the officiating. Like, we were outplayed.
I'm not doing that.
They were the better team on Sunday.
Yeah.
And there were some calls that went in the Giants' favor. Like, that was a fumble by Dart. His arm wasn't coming forward, or at the very least, he hadn't fully gone forward yet. The ball was knocked out, and there was a fumble. Should have been recovered by the Eagles. And I'm sure, and as I saw Eagles fans pointing out on that first touchdown from Dart to Scatabo, we might have gotten away with a hold there. But to any Eagles fan, pardon my French here. Can I be a little explicit here, Yusuf? Is that okay?
You're going to do it anyway. Go ahead.
I've been good about this. I have not cursed once on this pod.
That's a lie. You have, but go ahead.
I don't remember a single instance, but anyways, all these Eagles fans bitching and moaning about, the referees were on the Giants side. Like, oh my God, shut up. No, they weren't. You know that too.
I think we'd have more points if that was true.
Like, good Lord, man.
PR plays get called back. I mean, touchdowns get.
Jesus.
Come on now.
Come on.
It'd have been closer. Don't do that, please. Don't. They are the better team. I agree with you on that one. I'm not blaming the officiating, but come on. Let's not. It's not.
But like, there are these Eagles fans out there saying that bahooey, and again, I don't want this to come across as like we only lost because of the refs. That wasn't the case. But there were 21 points, essentially a 21-point swing in this game, directly because of penalties. There was the tush push, which got the actual, like, the announcers didn't know what was going on. The Fox Sports rules analysts didn't know what was going on. They were talking to all these different people on the broadcast and being like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm giving up on figuring out how the heck we can ever officiate this play. And because what even is forward progress? When was it called? Because the whistle, when you watch the actual, when you watch it back, the whistle does not blow until Kayvon Thibodeau has already ripped out the ball, rolled out of the pile, recovered the ball, lost the ball, and it was about to be picked up by, I think that was Deontay Banks. And that's when they blew the whistle. That was maybe the worst officiated moment I've seen in years. And again, that includes all these other blatant false starts, offsides, everything involving the tush push.
That's the kind of stuff that gives folks pause, man. When that kind of stuff happens like that, I'm like, wow. I just watched this Sunday Night Football, almost the same thing. The whistle blew, and guess what? Everybody stopped. Like you're supposed to. But for this team, it's something different.
Because and I think I'm quoting them here. The reasoning was there was intent to blow the whistle. As if these guys are supposed to be mind readers. What do you mean intent to blow? I've never heard that before. What do you mean intent to blow the whistle?
My man's going straight Seinfeld right now. What is this about? What do you mean?
What are you talking about? Intent to blow the whistle. What do you mean?
What does that mean? What is that?
So, I mean, like again, that's like so ridiculous. I kind of find it funny. Like I know I'm very clearly frustrated by this,
It's
but
hilarious.
it's honestly kind of funny. Like
It's hilarious.
they're like that stereotype of the girlfriend or wife that's like, I'm not going to tell you why I'm mad. You just need to figure it out, even though all I've done is give you the silent treatment. Like, am I supposed to be a mind reader here?
Basically, yeah. This
Oh
is
my god.
the whole season is funny, man. This whole thing is funny.
The Kayvon Thibodeau and okay, so and then because of that, they get the touchdown. And the ensuing play, I think it might have been like the very next play or a couple plays later. So that is directly 7 points. And then you on another drive for the Eagles that led to a touchdown. They had it like 3rd and 7 or 2nd and 7 or something like that. And their Mailata or Johnson, one of their tackles, very clearly flinches. That's a false start. Kayvon jumps because of that. And but then they call Kayvon offsides. 5 yards, much more manageable, directly leads to a touchdown. So that's 14 points in the Eagles' favor. And because of, I think it was following that tush push debacle, was when Scatabo got injured. So who knows, if the Giants take over with all this momentum, if Scatabo gets injured at all. Because that's a butterfly effect. Look, and again, this by no means means that the Giants would win this game. But at the very least, things would have played out differently, and we might not have lost our currently healthy best skill position guy.
Yeah.
This isn't even getting into the fact that was a hip drop tackle, which is illegal, and that's what injured Scatabo. There's, again, for the final touchdown play that was, swayed by these penalties, was the absolute phantom OPI on Darius Slayton. And then there was a defensive pass interference called on one of the Giants players. Bless you. Earlier, I forget who it was, if it was Banks, if it was Flood, whomever it was. Where when you watch the replay back, the only reason he has his hand on the guy to be on the Eagles wide receiver to begin with is because the Eagles wide receiver is about to be coming into I think it was like a curl or a comeback of some sort, and he had his arm hooked underneath our corner and just kind of pushed him away. Like it was ridiculous that wasn't OPI. There was the phantom block in the back by Wandale, where I think if you actually watch it, he actually misses the guy. They're just both falling. And then again, all of these missed holds on Abdul Carter. Like, you want to know why Abdul Carter only has half a sack so far this year? Is because every time he has anything resembling a path to the quarterback, he's getting, kind of chokehold, and he's not throwing his arm up. He's not selling the hold like he should be, because all of a sudden, how many of these plays that go for yardage because Abdul Carter is getting held and it's not called, like those are potential drive changers. And now all of a sudden, maybe the Giants defense doesn't look as bad. Maybe there aren't as many points scored. Maybe the fact that Abdul Carter has been actually so good, it's ridiculous, but it's not going to show up in the stat sheet. So again, we didn't lose the game because of these penalties, but momentum and, again, potentially injuries all swayed because of it's the butterfly effect. These things stack on top of each other, and it just gets to a point where it's ridiculous.
It's already there. Let's get into this. Giants legend Carl Banks has some comments about All-Pro Dexter Lawrence. Basically, in short, he's saying that nobody respects him in regards to in-game football strategy working around him. Before he would come out there and people had to account for him. Now he's saying nobody's doing that anymore because he's become ineffective or what have you. His teammates are saying the teams are still planning around him and they still fear him. But Carl Banks is saying this is not happening. Numbers wise, things don't look great. I mean, he had 3 tackles and a half a sack Sunday, but the 4 games before that, probably a total of maybe 9 tackles and a half a sack in 8 games. And that half a sack was yesterday. And he's basically 4 years and $90 million, through 2027 on our roster. And we've been talking about him coming back healthy and doing damage and making things easy for the other guys on the line, but it's not looking good. Do you believe that Carl Banks' assessment is correct, or are you more on the Giants side of things that Dexter Lawrence is still the man? He's just got some challenges going on. What do you think about it?
Look, the truth is Dexter Lawrence has not been good this year, and I take full responsibility. I bought his jersey in the offseason knowing that would possibly be
full responsibility. What did you do?
I bought his jersey. I bought a Dexter Lawrence jersey. I needed to replace the Daniel Jones one that I had. And I knew going in, I was possibly going to end up cursing whoever's jersey I bought. I was looking for former, I was looking online to see what was happening. I was looking for somebody who didn't get a lot of love. I didn't want an old Eli jersey, no matter how much I love Eli. I was looking for a Sean O'Hara jersey, man. Like,
what about Deontay Banks? If you really wanted to help, why did you?
I wanted a jersey that would be for possibly someone who's on the roster for more than another year or two. I wanted somebody who could theoretically last, and I cursed him. So I'll probably be actually getting rid of it after this season.
Oh my goodness!
Because that's how superstitious I am.
I didn't know that. Now I know. My goodness.
I take full responsibility. Yeah. But the truth is, Dexter Lawrence hasn't been good this year. And I think he's still recovering from the injury. He was dealing with tricep and elbow, and we saw earlier this year, and I forget which game, but he was having issues with it. He was clearly still in pain. But he was matched up at times one-on-one with a backup center yesterday. And he wasn't winning.
No.
He was not destroying that guy.
And strangely enough, the guy we talk about on defense who you can call him no name. I mean, I don't know how else to describe him. They're winning against the same people.
I think he's playing through some stuff right now, which is why I said earlier, I think it's going to take him another year to be removed from the surgery, to have another off season. Now just fully getting used to how he's going to be moving, getting strength back, not lollygagging in the off season.
So what's the prognosis, man? If you got all these guys that are recovering from injury, we named like about 7 of them already, not including Dexter Lawrence, who is still obviously dealing with something because his play just dropped off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
What's the prognosis for this year? What do we do? Because we can't go out and really quote unquote get anybody. It doesn't make financial sense, and it's not feasible in any way, really. But we don't have that much depth. So what do we do for the next 8 weeks?
We just survive, man. Again, I think
I'll buy it. So it's 7 weeks, I guess. I'll buy it.
Again, I think this is all going to come back tomorrow, being like, okay, we're cleaning house, and what GM you're going to see again if you approach it with the mindset of Malik Neighbors will be back, and he should at least still be good. You would hope that he's at least still good. He's not going to be top 5 level like he was, but I think he should still be good. Scatterbo should still be good. Again, I don't think he's going to be quite as good as he once was, but he'll be good. If Dexter Lawrence can get back and, to being where he was, which I think is a lot more feasible, given the nature of his injury versus the nature of Neighbors and Scatterbo's. Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland should be back this year. Nothing about those injuries sounded like they're season enders. Bellinger, I haven't even heard anything about the state of his neck. So he might be back this upcoming Sunday. He might not be. But I doubt he's out for the season. At least I really hope not. So you're going to come into a situation. You're a possible GM. You're a possible coach. And you're going to have a top 5 pick. You're going to have, Jackson Dart, promising young quarterback. And I think this is going to be an enticing job. But there's a lot of ifs involved with the Giants right now. If Dexter Lawrence returns to form, if Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterbo can come back and even be, 75% of the guys they were before going down. So that comes all the way back around to, you kind of have been wanting to touch on this subject for a couple weeks now, trading for a wide receiver. Do the Giants move forward with that? Because if you want if you want a good player, it's probably going to be a day 2 pick. But the only day 2 pick the Giants currently have is their 2nd round pick. And I don't want to be trading that.
That ain't what I want to talk about. I want to talk about who we can trade off of our team and get something for.
Well, the conversation, sorry, I guess I misinterpreted what we were talking about offline. But a lot of the conversation that I've seen is, do the Giants still go out and try and trade for a quarterback so as not to stifle Dart's development this year, to give him a guy to help him? Well, it's more about helping Dart keep his confidence in himself. And I understand that logic. I don't know if I agree with it, but I understand the logic. Right now, Dart feels like it's over.
You said right now, you meant wide receiver, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Wide receiver.
The quarterback. Go ahead and get a quarterback for what? we got.
No. I was on a heater and I didn't even realize what I was saying, man. No, go ahead. So to help Dart as a quarterback not lose the confidence that he has, to see that okay, I can still go out there and win games. I still have someone who can go out there and make a play for me, because that's what he's missing right now. Scatterbo went out and made plays for this offense. Wan'Dale and Slayton are not going out and making plays, and each time it feels like Slayton does make a play, it's called back for offensive pass interference. And the Giants have the 3rd most touchdowns called back for penalties over the past few years. I think it's the last 2 seasons or something. And it just, again, it's just so deflating. And you don't want Dart to lose his mojo right now. Dart has a swagger and a confidence about him that was infectious and made the Giants fun. And it was him and Scatterbo. And we just lost Scatterbo. So we can't afford to lose that fire in Dart. But at the same time, that 2nd round pick could be used on a linebacker to help with the run defense. It could be used on an interior offensive lineman to help protect Dart. It could be used on a wide receiver, depending on what we do with the 1st round pick. Right now, I think there's a lot of speculation that 1st round pick is going to be a wide receiver. And the 2 guys that I would love right now are Emeka Ibuka and Jordan Tyson. But
Emeka Ibuka.
Not Emeka Ibuka. Oh my God. Carnell Tate. Sorry. Other Ohio State receivers. I'm so out of it today, man. I'm sorry. I am out of it.
What in the world is this man talking about? But no,
I mean, we could draft Emeka Ibuka. I would. He's been phenomenal this year.
He's with Ohio State. I still wouldn't mind having him. So the desperation is off the charts. But
Carnell Tate has been. I mean, he's still kind of second best to Jeremiah Smith, but Carnell Tate is averaging 17 yards a catch, has about 600 yards and 6 touchdowns through 7-8 games. Averaging 100 yards a game, just about.
I know we're talking potentially we've been trying to talk about for a few weeks about who we can trade. We got guys like Hyde, ain't getting no action. I'm like, why are you here? Evan Neal, we probably can get something for him. Some kind of picks. I don't care what kind of picks they are. It can be late picks. I don't even care at this point. I'm concerned, man, because I can see a lot of holes on the team that maybe people don't think are holes. I'm gonna name a few of them. The whole kicker thing. I'm concerned. Gano's back. I'm still concerned about that. Okay, I think that's something that we have to solve because I don't see Gano being in the future. So we got to solve that. I know that Justin Tucker's out there in week 10. He gets freed up, but is he up to snuff to be the kicker for the future? Does he still have it? Kind of hard to tell. Greg Joseph is still out there. We talk about wide receiver. Mention some guys that are really good. We got to get wide receivers in here too because my goodness, the situation is critical. We got Slayton's in there. He's on the hometown discount at this point, but he's not the future. So we got to do, and it's definitely not little Jordan Humphrey. We got to do something else because Hyatt obviously doesn't seem to be a part of the future plans. And when he comes back, it's going to be 100% when he comes back. We're going to have somebody on the opposite side, and we don't know that Wandale can manage that load. We kind of can see that. So the guys you mentioned in the draft, wide receivers, looking at that. I'm concerned about running back from the other perspective. Even if Scat comes back and he is halfway decent, I feel like you got to have a burner over there outside of him because we've been using him as a battering ram for weeks now. And, you kind of get what you pay for. That guy running into a wall, and he's good with running his head into a wall. He probably enjoys it. But it's like you got to have some kind of a burner. And Tyrone Tishy is not a burner. So we get somebody who's going to compete at that spot and potentially take Tracy's job, but has the ability to elude safeties and linebackers and has elite top speed. We'll be getting that on the streets. We're going to have to be in the draft too. Tight end for the future. I thought it was going to be Theo Johnson. I'm like, all we do is run 12 personnel these days. And it's like, I don't even like what's happening. Now the Village's issue with his neck, I'm like, our pass catchers are disappearing on us right now. And then linebacker, you mentioned that earlier, that's been a problem for a while. We talked about that in the offseason. It's still a problem. How are we going to solve all this stuff in the draft? We're going to need a lot of picks to solve all of these things in the draft. How are we going to do that? And then we got the cornerback safety situation with Newman. You and I are already in agreement on that. He's not getting the job done. So we got over 60 something million dollars tied up in Holland and Adebo. And it's like you gotta hope that they're gonna come through and do something, but we're about behind them because we don't really like what Newman is doing. And I think with Drew, we kind of feel as though it's kind of like I don't hear confidence coming from either one of us when it comes to him. So we gotta get help there too. All these guys through the draft. Or was a combination of free agency. We need a lot. We need a lot of gaps to be filled. And I didn't mention O-line because we don't have that much time left in the show. But it's something to think about too. The O-line, even though they've been overperforming, can I say that they've been overperforming? We still got to touch those areas and deal with that stuff through the draft. So it's like, where's all these fools coming from? With what draft capital? You're saying this is not.
The only thing that I would say, again, that could hypothetically be, enticing for an incoming GM and coach would be that there is a very real possibility that, especially with all these injuries having piled up, the Giants do not win a game the rest of the season. That we finish going 2-15. And if we do, we are going to finish with the number 1 overall pick. At least I would think so. Because the Jets, Dolphins, Saints, Titans, they all still play each other the rest of the way. So we could have the number 1 overall pick, or at the bare minimum, we might finish with a top 3 pick. And so we can trade back, accumulate assets to further build out this roster. Maybe we somehow end up with a Caleb Downs. Maybe we somehow end up with, my kind of dream draft would essentially just be to draft the entire Ohio State defense right now. Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. They got some corners there that will be decent late round targets. But if we're able to accumulate, like build up the offensive line a bit with Connor Liu or Vega Ione out of Penn State, the guard. Connor Liu is a center. There's a couple guards at A&M or Texas Tech or I forget. There's Connor Liu, Vega Ione. Lalolo is a center from Oregon. Slaughter, center from Florida.
We're gonna go on and on. We need help.
Like a Caden Green out of Missouri. Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon. I think he's a guard.
We need help.
There are a bunch of names that we can target. My point is if we can trade back and accumulate assets, start stacking some of these picks. I mean, maybe that would cost us a Caleb Downs, but I don't know. It's one of those things. Do you go need or BPA? Because I mean, at this point, the Giants do need just more pure talent, but at the same time, it's like you can't just always wait and hope a guy kind of comes available in your range. You know what I mean? Sometimes you do have to reach a little bit and just to fill out a need because, well, we can't enter next year with the same wide receiving core, except now might not even be ready for week 1 Malik Neighbors, Like Jordan Tyson, if we are at pick 1 and trade down to pick 6, pick up a first this year, second this year, third this year, first next year, something, whatever, because the team wants to trade up for a quarterback. And then Jordan Tyson's right there. And you're like, look, maybe we don't love him at 6, but we'd be willing to pick him at 11. You get a semantical if you hold on too much for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it just is one of those things that
we're in a tight spot.
Yeah, but again, I also think there are ways to solve this, and I do think we will be in a good spot come this upcoming off season. We will have ways to clear up cap space, and that will start with Gano being gone. Possibly, trading Singletary, Hyatt, Neal, Hudson, Okereke, stuff like that. But it's all going to be a difficult process, and I'm sure whoever comes in to replace Shane and Dable will be just as not up to the task as they were.
You guys are better than that. But this has been interesting. I guess I can go ahead and say it's fun because it's always fun to talk New York Football Giants, despite all that we've been seeing from them, man. But this has been good. On to next week. I forgot who we got on the docket next week, but
I think it's the Niners.
I want to clarify that before we go off. Niners, all right. Oh boy, all right. So I doubt that Purdy's going to be back, so we'll probably face him Mac Jones more than likely. But this is going to be interesting, and we got to contain C-Mac. Good times, good times. I've seen us do it before, so I know it's possible, but we'll see what happens, man. But that's just I'm Mr. U, and we're talking all things New York Football Giants. This is the Big Blue Leftish podcast. Thanks for watching, listening, and subscribing. Have a great one.